Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura. Tonight, I always say that. I don't know why I say that to begin with. But anyways, I am joined, no Chris today, but we do have Joey Chavala making a big return. What's up, Joe? How you doing?
What's up, guys? Thankfully, no Chris today. No, after hearing it was nonsense takes.
Right? Well, what is that about, man? Can't trust or believe in a super sub. What's wrong with that, man? But we love you, Chris. And joining us today, third willing, we got Diego Martinez. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? All good. Happy to be back. This
All
time,
right.
finally in Houston. So, just so happy to be back and comfortable here.
Yeah, man. Last time we had you, it was fun, dude. We got to see you from all the way over there in New York City. So now having you a little closer makes a lot of sense. But you'll be making a nice travel trip coming up shortly, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But it's been a bit. I guess we didn't record last week. We I guess officially took a break ourselves, like the international breaks that the teams saw. The Dash earlier than the Dynamo. They obviously did play this past week on what ended up being a 2-0 defeat. Joey, why do you have to be so perfect, man? What do you have to call that?
Oh yeah, dude, that was a pretty good call. It didn't. The game didn't really even go how I thought it would go, but yeah, I was spot on the score.
I felt confident that it was going to be a draw for most of the game. It looked pretty much right there, dude. Both of the teams looked so relaxed. And then I don't know where the goals started coming, man. And then obviously the other team for Houston that played was Houston Dynamo 2. They themselves ended up losing in penalties after drawing in regular time against Sporting Kansas City, man. So those were the two games that we didn't see or talk about last week. And then before that, obviously Portland, Houston getting a result over there, which a great result to be fair. A win could have been possible, with a goal that didn't go. I guess, was it offside from Seva? No, Aliyu was offside on that goal to make it 3-2. So they could have made it 3-2. But yes, I mean, it feels like it's been an eternity since we last spoke, and obviously. Joey, you weren't here the last time I think we recorded.
No, I was not. So it's been almost a month probably.
It's been a minute, man. So, and obviously Diego, this is your second time with us, brother. So that's what we're here for, man, to try to get some thoughts and guide. But what do you guys anything you guys want to mention before we go full on Houston Dynamo? Anything that you guys wanted to talk about the last 2 weeks, maybe that we didn't record? Anything you want to hit on, Diego, Joey?
Well, I guess I mean we have to throw it out there that we had the privilege of Bayou City Soccer to cover the Mexico Brazil game at Cal Field in College Station. I mean, I didn't make the trip, but I obviously did watch the game, and I mean, really first positive sighting in Mexico in a while, even though we lost. I just wanted to say that, and I think it's huge for us to, be able to go create some content over there, and obviously I think it's something to shout out.
Yeah, no, I think that was huge, and obviously a historic night, as you mentioned, College Station. It's funny, that it was mentioned that it was the fourth largest stadium in the U.S., which it's incredible. Obviously, all of them being, football stadiums, American football stadiums. I think Michigan was the first, Penn State, Ohio State, and then the Aggies have the fourth largest. And they had about, was it 84,000 people there? I mean, they didn't completely sell it out. I think it's over close to 100,000 souls that you can get into that stadium. But that's, I mean, 84,000 is nice anywhere you take it, man, especially that a lot of people had to make that trip from Houston and from other places to see Mexico that comes pretty often to the Bayou City. And then obviously Brazil, not necessarily. So kind of nice to see some of those big names that you get to see at the Champions League winning it, like Vinicius and those
Mhm.
Real Madrid players, man. But yeah, and Manny was the one out there that was able to go to that game and cover it, as well as Gustavo, who did a great job with some with the pictures. So, man, it's just been positive. I think soccer is just so much fun, especially in the city that we have. That we get a lot of those big game matches around here, man. So, and I mean, it's gonna keep going. Obviously, I guess maybe Copa Americas around the corner. There's be a couple games here in Houston, and then the Euro started on Friday with Germany, the host. I guess are they playing Scotland? I think it's Scotland. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I believe
think
it's Scotland.
Scotland.
So
Germany's going all the way, by the way.
man, there we go.
Germany all the way.
That's the last dance, man.
Hey, that's a good shout out, man. If you follow us on Instagram or Twitter, I put our league out there for Bayou City. So your predictions, go to links you to the Food Mob page. Create your own little, I guess, predictions on what the tournament's going to look like, and see if you can get them right, man. We did it last World Cup, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people join. I think I think we had probably close to 50 or 70. I can't remember, but it was good. And I can't remember who won it, to be honest. Joey, did you join that?
For the World Cup?
Yeah, I remember
I think so.
Finister
Yeah,
being one of the persons too. But
yeah, I don't remember how I did. I think I did bad.
yeah, I couldn't tell you who I picked as my World Cup. I think I had France probably winning it again.
I think I had France as well, I want to say.
Oh no, you know what? I think I did have Argentina. I think I was like in the whole train.
Oh,
of,
hell
like,
no, I was not putting Argentina in there.
It's just because it was Messi, man.
I'm never putting Messi on a tournament. I'm sorry.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, definitely join this. I'm sure you guys already joined them. Funny enough, I went and looked, and I did. I was telling my sister-in-law's boyfriend about it, so he would join it. And when I went and looked, if you're looking for me and you decide to join it, you're not gonna find my name because I completely forgot to change my name on it. So if you're curious who I am football fan number 30,092. So there you go. If you want to know how Rudy Segura is doing, look for 092 and we'll get you there, man. So funny enough, man. Good little tab. Keeps everybody interested.
I'm making mine right now live for the Euro.
There you go. Oh, I saw Dustin already joined, man. Dustin doesn't have
Dustin's in?
Much internet, but yeah, he's in here. Omar's in here.
I'm making mine live right here.
Right, got Harry Austin is in here, and then there's a couple more football fans that forgot to change their name. So they're in here. And
Group E, who we got? Belgium, Ukraine,
Copa America, and then let me see. I'll show you the obviously Copa America starts in 11 days. The Euro starts this on Friday. And I'll tell you if he's in both of them or not. Yep, Dustin Richardson, man, signed up for both of them already. So look at that. We talk about Dustin because he's been out of our lives for 5 days. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but he's out in the boonies. We
were able to hold the ship down. That's all that matters.
Right? We have so much work to do, man. There are so many games in between. We kept it afloat. And we're here. That's what matters, man. Let me see. That's good.
I feel like everyone's gonna end up with the same Final Four in the Euros. It's like I don't know. Is there like any way you could not like end up with England, France, Germany, Portugal, or any other teams? Spain, maybe.
I don't. I was thinking originally. I was thinking Spain would win it all. I know they're young, but I think like England's just overhyped.
Spain just doesn't have firepower, man.
Yeah, but the win tournament is 1-0, man. That's all you need.
Well, they haven't won a tournament in a while. 2010 was last time they won. 2012 Euros last time they won.
Yeah, because it's like They won in
They won
08
one of those like stupid
in the
Nations
World Cup.
leagues as well, but no
2012.
one gives a shit about that.
Yeah, that was recently too. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, I don't
guess
know.
all right,
Morata at striker, yeah.
Joey just said Germany all the way. Diego, what are you thinking?
For Euros, I am writing for the real last dance of Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean,
They
I
already
think
won it though. They
I
already
Yeah,
won
but
it.
Tony
I
Cruz is
think this
better
is
than
the
Ronaldo.
best team that Ronaldo has had
Oh,
throughout
I don't
his
disagree with
time
that.
as a Portugal national team player. Um, I saw this in the World Cup where you saw guys like João Felix, João
mhm.
Moutinho, like Rafael Leao. These are guys during that World Cup that were just rising in their prominence, and this is really where they now have this international experience, this tournament experience. So I really see like a step up from that World Cup squad, and so I just think they're a little more prepared to deal with like the pressure of an international tournament.
My
That's a
prediction for
good take.
Portugal is that Cristiano Ronaldo is gonna cry. That's gonna be my prediction. He's always,
That's a that's a
it,
pretty
yeah. I
fair
mean,
one.
there's money there, right?
There's money there.
Yeah, for
You
like
got to
the
look at this Germany team, man.
win or
Look how many
lose.
players are probably in their last tournament, like Cruz, Muller, and Neuer. So many.
Yeah, there's like I said, it's they're just fun, man. They're fun tournaments, because even like Croatia looks like they're kind of in their way out of that, big.
Yeah,
Um,
they're old now.
yeah, I think France is who I ended up picking to win it all
Mm.
against Spain. So I was feeling like a France against a young Spanish team. That's kind of what I'm feeling the final to be. That'd be a fun final. Except for again, I think France just
Mhm.
it's a young team too, but they've won already. So they've won a World Cup. Most of these guys. I mean, imagine Mbappe and then him going to Real Madrid. Oh my God! Like, how annoying is that going to be? Especially me as an FC Barcelona fan.
Yeah, he's just gonna win everything.
Yeah. So it'd be incredible to see. And then I guess for Copa America, what are you feeling then? If you don't feel Argentina, what are you taking, Diego?
I I took Uruguay. I took Uruguay for mine.
Me too, bro.
I think personally, looking at the game versus Mexico, I know Mexico is not the strongest team in this tournament. However, just the way that they played, the way they were on the ball, the way that they were reactive. I've always loved Marcelo Bielsa as a manager. Um, say what you want about Darwin Nunez, he's an okay to pretty good striker.
He's
He does
fast, man.
like Uruguay has a lot of potential to really sneak behind these teams. And I mean, really, the only thing stopping them, in my humble opinion, is Brazil or Argentina. These are the two teams that like I can see like really beating
Mhm.
this Uruguay team. And so, I mean, if they only have to play one of them, then
And
Yeah,
it's very
prob-
possible that you get a final. I mean, whenever I did, I picked our Uruguay as well, but the final would be against Argentina in my prediction too. So uh,
and there's no Suarez on the roster, right?
there is no Suarez on the roster,
Huh. I feel like they
and
should have brought one of Suarez or Cavani, man.
well, and they were saying that some guys, especially against Mexico, some guys came out not necessarily fully injured, but they kind of felt a little bit of fatigue. So
I don't know, man. If I want to bring
um,
anyone off the bench the last 10 minutes against an Argentina or Brazil, almost any player on the planet, it's Suarez.
yeah, but I think and Uruguay is so good at this tournament too. I mean, just the Garra Charrua just does such a great job of like those tournaments. I mean, yeah, like Luis Suarez is the perfect example. I mean, you bite, you scratch, you do a handball, whatever it needs to be done for you to get as far as you can in the tournament. But Uruguay has not won it since I think 2011. And I remember that because obviously Mexico had been a part of a bunch of those, and they've done very well. I don't know if that's going to be the case against this, especially if they go against Argentina, if they don't make it out as the first of their group. So it's going to be interesting. But we'll talk definitely more about this tournament. I think we're still planning to do a Copa America, Joey.
Yep.
I guess full on episode, especially just talking about CONCACAF teams, I believe. So we'll probably also write a couple articles. I think at least we should. So I'll make it probably my own to write a couple articles on the CONCACAF teams and how they did and all that good stuff. And as the tournament approaches, we still have
We're gonna do player ratings for United States games.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do, and probably Mexico. Yeah, at least probably just those two. So
Hey, little MLS news bomb right here from Fabrizio Morano. Julian Carranza to Feyenoord.
I saw that. Okay,
Oh, really?
yeah. So
Do we play Philly? I don't know if the Dynamo play Philly this year.
don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
No. No.
That's a huge player on the way out. It's a good club for him too. Feyenoord. They developed.
Does that mean that Santi is out? Somebody's gonna buy Santi?
Maybe, yeah. I don't
Did
know.
it
I think
Tottenham?
the Carranza's better bench him, bro.
Man, possibly. Unless I mean you hope that if as a Mexican fan you hope that Santi gets in there, gets a couple goals in Copa America, and maybe the whole to Liverpool thing happens, because it's in that Feyenoord's old coach was the one that went to Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean there's that. So yeah, look at you, Joey, breaking news live here. Look at you. Alrighty, but you guys kept with us. Some people said I'm excited to see Turkey in the tournament. That was
Turkey
supposed to hear. Yeah, Turkey in the tournament from
Hurtado
and Rushan mentions Martinelli, and then Dago obviously excited with Vini Jr. to the Houston Dynamo. Here we go.
What about Martinelli?
He just put Martinelli. I guess he's a fan. Rushan's a fan.
Hey, I like that Vinny Jr. move to the Dynamo.
I'm a Martinelli fan. I'm Martinelli better than Vinny. I don't want to hear it.
We lost Quinones earlier this season. We need a winger.
Well, that'd be like what's it called? Best signing ever.
Hey, Rodrigo gets forced out of Real Madrid because of Mbappe. He comes to the Dynamo. That's all.
Yeah, can we get him as a free agent? I mean, look at Real Madrid picking up like 5-star players. Yeah. What about Memphis? Yeah, we could probably take a Memphis Depay too. Why not?
Yeah, Memphis would be pretty
good. We'll take anyone at this point.
Give us some firepower, man. I'm down for Memphis. How old is Memphis now? Like 32, 33?
He's only 30.
He's only 30?
Yeah.
Dude, sign him.
Sign him ASAP.
Get rid of the other two DPs. Just keep Ache, and then boom.
I feel like there's no way Depay doesn't stay in Europe though. I feel like if he leaves Europe, he's going to Saudi.
Who do you think has a biggest? Not good job. Who's a better chance, Griezmann or Memphis to come to the MLS?
Griezmann.
I think Griezmann's more Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
I think Griezmann's gonna end up in the Windy City.
But come on, Memphis.
Rose.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. It's like, but Memphis is named after actually, I don't know. I was gonna say an American city.
Dude, Memphis's similar players on a Football Reference still are Mbappe, Ben Yedder, Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., Son, and Boniface. Yeah, this dude ain't coming to MLS right now.
Ooh, that's a good question. Dago asked a good question. We'll let Joey answer this. He says, "Who's the Real Madrid of MLS, and who would you compare the Dynamo to?" That's a good question.
Real Madrid of MLS.
Yeah.
God, there isn't a Real Madrid of MLS. I mean, 10 years ago, you asked me that question. I tell you the Galaxy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The Real Madrid doesn't go in 10-year streaks of not winning titles. They don't.
No, but I think they're still there for just because I have the most titles.
Yeah, I guess, but that's tough.
Also, I think it's like the Galacticos of like signing.
Yeah,
like
they had to. Yeah.
They had Zlatan. They had Chicharito.
Yeah, Steven Gerrard. They have some big names. I mean,
if we're gonna talk about star power now, I guess it'd be Miami. But
yeah, now
who I compare the Dynamo to?
No, Miami's PSG, man.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a lot of stuff and not a lot of actual, winning. That's what I expect from Miami.
Oh, Miami's winning MLS Cup. Let's not even kid here.
And then who you compare to the Dynamo? I mean, and
I'm gonna compare the
If you compare
Dynamo
it to
to.
Dynamo, I mean, if you're gonna stick to one league, call it EPL. It's
Call it
somewhere down,
EPL.
so somewhere all the way at the bottom.
Dude, where we compare them in the EPL in terms of play style? Or are we talking about like history?
I don't. Well, historically, the
Talking
Dynamo, if it
history, let's
wasn't,
go. I'm gonna go with Arsenal if we're talking history.
oh, look at
That's a
that,
good one.
You know,
That's
they had
forever
success in
runner up.
the early days of the league, and they haven't replicated since. Gotten close, but not quite there. So I'll say Arsenal. But in terms of play style, I don't know. Maybe Aston Villa. Maybe I don't know.
It'd be difficult to compare them playing style to anybody in the EPL though, because I feel
Actually,
like
I'd say
they,
Newcastle. I think Ben Olsen and Eddie Howe would get along as coaches together.
because I think like the way the Dynamo the build up is so slow, it's more like of a Serie A or even La Liga team. You know, maybe like a Barcelona. You remember like everybody always played the tiki taka and always like possession based all the time, and it was just you don't have a Messi clearly. Come on, Vinicius, make it out to the Dynamo, bro.
I mean, they don't have an
Come on,
Achache.
Memphis.
They don't have an Achache.
They don't. Yeah, that's true. So, but no, that's true. That's funny. All right. Well, yeah. Again, Houston Dynamo, they're back in business this week. But the Dash again did get to play over the weekend, and are they the first ones to play? I have them here. In my let me see. I should have it right here, banner. So the first team, I guess the first team to play is the Dynamo. So might as well go and talk about the Dynamo. Dynamo are going to play against Atlanta United Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Joey, I know we didn't talk a lot about the Portland match, but obviously big break in between. How you feel with this Dynamo so far, man, going into this Atlanta United match?
I think it's positive momentum. I think the last two results are pretty solid. I mean, good win against Colorado, and you take a draw in Portland. You take a draw any day,
Yeah.
and then we come against that Atlanta team that has some issues right now, some question marks in terms of
No
players being up
coach.
for internationals, and then no coach just fired up. What the hell is his name? I can't. He was so
Gonzalo
bad. I can't
Pineda.
remember his name. All right, Gonzalo Pineda. Yeah, I mean, Gonzalo Pineda was a little bit of a bum head coach in my opinion. I mean, they still just have such a good team on paper, but hey, they're not gonna have Saba.
I mean, they hadn't won a game. I think the only game that they had, and I told this
Miami.
to
No
Chris,
Caleb
was
Wiley
against
either. I
Inter
don't think.
Miami. They
Yeah.
beat Inter Miami, and I told Chris because I think we were either watching it together, talking about it, and I was like, dude, he just saved his like. They were gonna fire him on the spot again, if once they lost against Miami, but that didn't happen, so it saved them another week. Similar to what happened with Nagamura. If you guys remember Nagamura, he
Yeah.
ended up getting a big win, I think, against LAFC
Yeah,
or
it was
someone.
LAFC was the Dorsey goal.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Dang it, we can't fire him." So then they fire him after that.
Yeah, they don't have
So
balls like Nashville did and fire their coach after a win.
yeah, so yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. But
Yeah, so Atlanta's going to be without Yakimakis and Saba. That's two of their DPs. And I believe Caleb Wiley will also be out because he's with the Olympic prep squad.
what about Amada? Is he part of the Argentinian national team, or is he
Is
injured or anything?
he's part of their Olympic team. I don't know if they played any friendlies right now. They're in this window.
But then Diego, you're gonna be out at this game, man. So are you excited? Have you been to the Atlanta Stadium before? Or?
Yeah, I've been super excited to cover this game because normally the Dynamo do not play Atlanta. So I mean, this is a pretty rare occurrence to begin with. I was able to come last year to check out one of Chelsea's like summer tour or whatever it was called. Honestly, it's one of the most impressive like stadiums that I've been at.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the way that they're able to turn it into a genuine soccer stadium. Like I've been to like Yankee Stadium with NYCFC. I've been to Gillette for the Revs. I mean, I've seen other teams attempt to try to make a non-football stadium into a football stadium. I don't think it's worked as well as Atlanta has. And I mean, I think this game is looking very positive for the Dynamo. Honestly, I
Mhm.
think. I mean, Atlanta only have one win in 8 matches, and within that, they have just played poor football. I mean, it's been impatient. It's been letting early goals in. So, I mean, you have two teams. I mean, the Dynamo also have a pretty big issue with like allowing early goals and starting off slow. And so, I mean, it's really who can score first, in my opinion, that
Mhm.
really turn the tide. I think it'll also be helpful that maybe Brad Guzan is going to be starting, and I don't think he's going to be putting his best foot forward because he's missed a couple of games due to injury. So, I mean, I see the Dynamo really having a strong chance here.
It should be a an interesting game. It could also be a trap game, right? Because for the Dynamo at least, because the Atlanta playing under an interim coach, and like you guys mentioned, some of the main players being out. I'm sure some of the other guys will want to step in and
Mhm.
impress the new coach and just whoever is going to be the new coach in the future to keep their job. So it could
And
definitely become maybe a little bit of a trap game for the Dynamo.
no
But
Coco for the Dynamo either.
no Coco for the Dynamo, which Dago did mentions as well. Believe he's the only one. I know Xavier Valdez was out, but he should be back. Not that he's a main component for the Dynamo, but which I think everybody saw on social media that Steve Clark. It looks like he's going to make his return with a Batman mask on, so that should be a fun one, man. Definitely take a bunch of pictures of him, Diego, when you're over there, dude. Rat tail and a mask. Look at that. How much
I'm
content?
so excited. I was like, personally, I was a bit upset about hearing the fact that Yakimakis was leaving right when I'm going to travel to Atlanta
Right.
to go cover them because I loved him when he was at Celtic. Er, and so I was just like, oh, it would be great to shoot him. And now I have an excuse to shoot Steve Clark, which will be
Right. Yeah.
so interesting. I'm so excited for that.
Hey, you get to get pictures of Brad Guzan, man. That's
Exactly.
like guy should have retired like 10 years ago, but look at us.
Yep.
Look
I
at
mean,
us.
look at us. I remember my first MLS game that I shot. It was Atlanta versus New York, and Brad Guzan was just there. And somebody tapped me on my shoulder and was like, "Is that Brad Guzan?" I could have sworn I watched him when I was 10. I was
Exactly.
just like,
Exactly.
I couldn't do anything but
The
laugh.
guy's been in the league, especially so long that he played for Chivas USA. So that's just a lot there too.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you. I can't remember. I know. Did he play in the Premier League,
he played for
Joey?
Aston
Done?
Villa, I
Yeah, he
believe.
played Villa. And I
Okay.
believe, I want to say it was
I was gonna say Fulham, but since
Middlesbrough as well.
everybody played for Fulham, so
Pretty sure he played for Middlesbrough. Yeah, it was Middlesbrough.
Hmm.
And Hull as
Dago,
well. I don't remember
uh,
him playing
Huh.
Hull.
Dago's right. He says Steve's gonna look like El Zorro with that man. That's true. I could see that, man. Well, we'll see. We'll see what that brings, but yeah. I guess let's talk a little bit about just predictions. Joey, what are you thinking for this game?
Oh man.
Did you just like again? Basically, Coco being out is the only one that you're kind of dealing with,
Yeah, I think
and you're hoping that all those guys that have been injured are healthy after a 10-day break. So
yeah, Sebas should be good to go. I don't think Sebas probably starts, especially after Kovalchuk's really good last games. Man, I'm gonna go 2-1 to the Dynamo.
yeah, there you go,
Continue the good run
positive.
for him.
And I'm assuming Diego too. You're thinking a win possibly.
I'm thinking it's going to be a 3-1 win for the Dynamo. I
That'll be
Nice.
think
that'll be fun.
honestly, we're gonna score too early, and Atlanta's gonna get flustered, gonna get desperate. They're gonna pull one back, and then we're just gonna finish the job.
I like it. I like I'm gonna be the pessimistic just because I think a draw since that's what and it's an artificial ground too, so artificial turf. So that tends to always kind of come into a factor in some sort of way with the awkward bounces. But I'm gonna say 2-2 draw. But I'm with you. I gonna hope that a win comes because after that you have a Wednesday game, and obviously we'll talk about that next week. But you play in Seattle, who Seattle looks like they're finally kind of finding something. out of nowhere. It looks like some injuries, some key players with injuries are coming back. So, oh man, those are always tough. But all right, guys. Let's bounce to the Houston Dash game again. The Dash, they're playing on Saturday as well, 8:30 p.m. kickoff here in Houston. No pictures from Diego that day, but we'll sure we'll have somebody out there taking some photos and probably covering that game. So again, Dash versus Angel City Saturday. Um, I mean, I don't think Dash have find a rhythm yet. They get a good win, they get a bad loss, they get a great win, they get a bad loss. So it's just up and down, Joey.
Yep.
It looks like we really don't know. We can't. Tarsiani had looked great in her first game, and then he looked shaky the second game.
She was bad. I mean, that first goal was terrible.
Yeah, they put it on skates. It looked kind of not that
Yep.
great for sure.
Everything
So.
about it. She did like just everything you could possibly do wrong in that play. But you know, I got faith in her still. I'm not. I mean, obviously, one game, not out on her, but
Yeah,
that was a little worrying.
and obviously compared to Dynamo, the Dash have like a ton of players out on international duty during this break. Obviously, before they already played, but obviously Olivieri was out there. I think Putnam was out there, and Jane Campbell got a start for the. Let me see. Was there anybody
United
else?
States.
Yeah, well, United States. Sorry, I was looking. Tarsiani. She doesn't have a picture on FootMob, so I was like, "What the hell's that?" And then I feel like there was a couple more, and now I'm blanking.
I
But
think wasn't Ramona out for injury?
Marone, yes, yeah, she didn't get to play, and she has been the best player for
She's
the
been
team.
huge.
She's been
So,
very good.
but 8:30 game on in Houston. I think it would have been better if it was a 7:30, in my opinion, because you can take full advantage of the weather and the
Mhm.
way that the team is being set up by Fran Alonso. It just gives me the vibe that it's just high intensity, and you have that with the weather, you're unstoppable. Like we saw that 3-0 win against North Carolina. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump to my prediction. I believe is gonna be a win. I'm gonna say 2-1 Dash over Angel City, but the team they're just so up and down, man. So but overall, I think they're finding a little bit of balance with some of the uh, seasoned players they brought in.
That's fair. I think they're gonna lose.
That's fair. They're gonna lose
I
though.
think they're gonna. I don't know. I mean, they've yet to impress me at home outside of that Louisville, or not Louisville, was a North Carolina game. I mean, it was. I think they've lost like every other home game. It's just
Yep.
it's not good. Angel City, they are going to be very much in revenge mode in this game for the last match the teams played.
Yep.
I don't
Last
know where the
second
goals
goal.
are going to come from. Tarsiani's going to have to step it up and be huge. Same with Jane. I just don't know, man. The midfield looked really shaky last week as well. Yeah, I think they lose 2-1. That's what I'm going to go with.
2-1.
I think it really hinges on whether Ramona is going to play or not. Honestly,
Good call.
such a huge impact player, and I mean, you guys mentioned it. The game against Louisville and the game against North Carolina are night and day, and it's because Ramona played in one and Ramona did not play in the other. I absolutely brilliant on the ball, brilliant passing. I mean, her finishing is absolutely clinical. I don't. If she plays, I see it a one, maybe 2-0 win. If not, I'm gonna give it to Angel City and go a 1-2-0 win for them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think she's been the most critical player in the attack, or the attacking side of the field for the Dash. I think Andresa has been like a no-show. I think Olivieri has struggled. She did look good against North Carolina. Obviously, even got her a goal. But other than that, man, I just the experience that Ramona brings, it's actually been pretty incredible to see her just kind of step in at her age of 33. Not calling her old by any means, but I
Yeah.
thought she was gonna definitely struggle just the way the league was or is, fast paced league. And then the weather here in Houston, coming from Europe, spending time in Paris is just not the same. Coming into the amount of humidity that you face here, man. And you know it. I'm sure you
Yeah.
struggle just coming from New York and Houston, brother.
Yeah, I got off the plane and I was like, I kind of want to go back. But my thing with Ramona, honestly, is the fact that she's so willing to attack the ball,
Mhm,
go attack defenders. Like I think it's a mentality thing, really, for her, because I really see this like tendency to like go for every 50-50, really attack, really risk it, and I think that's the biggest experience that was lacking with this dash team.
yeah.
That like tendency to like take that extra step, that extra intensity, something that I think that Ferran really like wants is for these players to really be like, there's a 50-50. I don't care if I end up with the ball or with a yellow card, I'm going to go for it.
Mhm,
And I think Ramona is a prime example of somebody that's willing to do that and then creates magic from that.
mhm. That's true. That's true, man. So again, hope mixed result or mixed, I guess, predictions here for that game. It all hinges too on, man. You need to try to make it into the playoffs. That just goes for the club, struggling. You come from making the playoffs to looking really bad this last year, and then now it's like, what are you? I know you're trying to find an identity. I know you've already called this a rebuild, but you do need to build up on this, and they picked up some interesting players. It looked like they can do the deed and get it done, but man, it's not as fun as people may want it to be so far for the Dash, especially for the fans that follow them, each and every game. I think, especially those home matches, as Joey mentions, they've just struggled to win at home, which is incredible that that is the case. You should be winning at home pretty often, if not more often than not. And I think if it wasn't for this last home game that they won, it was about to be a whole year of them not winning at home, which is incredible.
It's
That
absurd.
it's yeah, it's the Houston way sometimes, I guess. Now and then it's but yeah, I mean, anything else you want to touch about the Dash? Anything that we didn't mention, Diego, Joey?
We could talk about the striker situation
Yes.
with
Uh,
Dion on the bench last two games for Alozi, who's been really awful. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think the Michelle getting playing time over Diana has been a little strange. I can see maybe Alonso trying to stretch the opposition, excuse me, as much as he could, maybe to get, especially at home, it made a lot of sense. And because I think the team was already up 2-0, and I was like, why bring Ordonez at this time? And boom, she scores the third goal. And it's like, okay, well, there you go. It's like literally about a minute after I said that, she scores. So I think that um, plan worked on that game. On the second game, I mean, Michelle has struggled. She doesn't look as good as she's been in the past. I think she definitely excels more
I don't
out
think she was ever
wide.
very good.
Well, no, but her speed is really what helps her, right? And I think
Hmm.
that when she plays out wide or as a, I guess, a win back, that tends to help her game just because of the way that in the past the system has worked with maybe playing with a 4-3-3 and kind of exploiting that. But right now, having her as more centrally, I just don't think it does much. She lacks a lot of technique, if we're being honest, Diego.
Yeah, but we also have two players here that aren't particularly amazing on the ball when they are tasked to create their opportunities. I mean, for Michelle, it's really just try to outrun.
Mm-hmm.
the defender, and for Diana, it's getting into the space, and then the ball comes to me, and really try to find a pocket there. I mean, it's just two types of players with really the same issue of lacking that quality on the ball, whether it's a quick turn, a couple of dribbling moves to break yourself free. I feel like either one of those two players could really excel as a nine if they build on that.
Mm-hmm.
I love Diana's ability in the air a lot. I think that certainly helps, especially because we do like to occasionally cross it there every now and then. If you were to ask me which one I prefer, I'd rather take Diana just because I feel
Yeah.
like her heading and her just overall movement are just more effective. So I really don't know why she's on the bench.
Yeah.
When
The only thing I would disagree with you is her ability in the air. She cannot jump sometimes to catch a ball, but she's definitely strong enough to hold the ball.
Yeah.
So she has that, and she does track back to either help defensively or start the build up a little further back, which is kind of interesting because for the longest you saw her as purely centrally. Now she's just like all over the field, and she looks like she has the fitness for it lately too. So, because even last year it looked like she struggled some. Obviously, her first year in Houston, already talked about the weather enough to kind of get that point across.
Yeah.
But now, it looks like she's just there, and if you're gonna build a team around anybody, it's gonna be her.
Hmm.
And the more, in the last year and the beginning of this year, I was very pessimistic on her, and just not necessarily purely negative, but definitely just I didn't see it, and now I do see it. I see that the work that she's putting, I think it has benefit her, with Fran Alonso being the coach, and and Maria Sanchez being gone, if we're being honest, too. So it gives her a little bit more liberty to become that player, Joey.
Yeah, you guys know what I think about Diana. I think she's incredibly good. The team around her just isn't built for her every all time, and they kind of stink around her. So, I mean,
I would like to see more Ordonez and Amanda West play.
yeah,
Some kind of
the
combination
service
there.
just is just not there for her. I mean, when you're her type of striker who revolves around getting service into the box, it's rough. And she's got what is it, 3-4 goals on the year, most of anyone on the team.
Yeah.
You gotta just play her. It's put your best players on the field. That's really what it is. Alosi's not a better player than her.
No, no, and not right now. I agree. Like I said, she had her moments. We know the speed was definitely the thing, getting a couple crazy counter goals, but other than that, she can go um long spells just disappeared, not on the field. You just don't know where she's at, and she struggles. Like you don't know if she's a defender, you don't know if she's an attacker at times, and I think she doesn't know what she is sometimes, and you can see it definitely on the field, man. It just is it's interesting. But you do have a lot of injuries. I was gonna say CC Kaiser obviously came in. She was supposed to be one of your main attackers. She's been dealing with like a knee injury, I believe. She's been out. Obviously, I think did she play? Was it football has her as a forward, but I thought she was a midfielder.
She was playing wing back.
Winbeck. Okay, so
She was
yeah, I
playing in
mean,
Avery's position.
apart from that, obviously Ryan is out maternity leave.
Thankfully.
Paulina Gramaglia, she's somewhere in
Who?
Brazil, I think. Yeah, exactly. Are and yeah, there's some players that are, yeah. I mean, I think the striker position is really, really
It's thin.
lacking in
And they
some
tried playing
aspects.
Andressa there too, and she doesn't really provide much of anything.
No, no, she'll do like she'll have some flair, do a move, and that's it. And then same thing with Juki. To be honest,
Hmm.
they put her wide sometimes or at the 10, and not much there, man. Not
Yeah,
much
the
there.
expectations were pretty low for Yuki coming in. I mean, I feel like she was signed as a last resort type of thing, tons of injuries. Yeah, but she's been, yeah, not very good. I really miss Ellen. That's who I miss. She needs to get healthy.
Yeah. And like I think I mentioned it to you guys. I think that Sophie Schmidt. I mean, she's been one of the best players for the Dash throughout her career here, but just I don't know. She just looks fatigued to me. Like,
I
um,
think she still looks great.
she just looks fatigued, man. I don't know. I'm not saying she's still performing, but I just feel that, and it could be maybe because Ellen is out. Because Ellen was right there too, playing
Mhm.
beside her, or Schmidt was getting pushed to center back position. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think that she needs some help, and obviously, if you can attack first, that's the way to defend, right? Isn't it a saying somewhere? The best
Oh
way to
yeah,
defend is to attack.
yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't help having Puntagam next year because Puntagam doesn't really offer a whole lot
Ooh,
either.
she's so slow.
Yeah.
So
She's
slow.
just so
We need
boring.
more speed, especially in
Yeah.
the back line.
I
Yeah.
mean, see, all the speed in the midfield just comes all from Barb. That's really
I
it.
think
I
there
don't
was
even think she's that quick either.
well, but Puna wasn't she like wasn't the game I can't remember if it was the 5-1 or the 4-1 since they've lost a couple pretty bad games. But there was one game that all like literally every goal was Sarah's like doing either a bad pass or just getting beat. It was awful. And we're like, what is happening here? That's when she was playing mostly center back, which
Hmm.
now with Ellen being out, she's been playing back
She's
in
a
that.
little bit better. I just want to see Sophie Hurst get that role.
Yeah, yeah. And looked like she was injured, wasn't she, last game? So
Hmm.
all right, guys. Well, let's finish off with Houston Dynamo 2. Again, they are playing St. Louis City on Sunday, so they'll be the last team playing for Houston at 6 p.m. on Sunday. I'm not sure if that is Apple TV, YouTube. They move it around so much, man. But um, the one player I guess I didn't mention was I believe it was who was it? Oh, Brooklyn Reigns. He was out too, international duty. He was
Oh yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah.
U19s, I think, or
Yep.
U23.
Yeah.
U19s.
Yeah. So, uh, yeah. So one of those players that has gotten some meaningful minutes lately with the first team. So that's good to see as well. But Dynamo 2, man, they're just struggling. They just can't again kind of be consistent. They get two straight wins and then back to not getting any more wins, and I believe they're still sitting in dead last, if I'm not mistaken. No,
No,
they're
they're
in
not.
12th place.
Austin and Colorado.
Yeah, I see it. So man, it's just interesting. But I don't I know that we probably not no one probably watched the last game, being that it was basically at the same time as the Dash game. But any any players that have impressed you so far, Diego, that you liked? I mean, there's been quite a few new players come in. Obviously, they brought the Brazilian Josue. They brought Colombian. What's it?
Mhm.
Bourbano, and I feel like there was one more guy. There's another guy they brought in. Is it Obando? I don't know. They brought someone else. Anyways, anybody that's caught your eye so far, or you expect
Yeah,
more of?
I mean, Josue has been
Yeah.
honestly phenomenal ever since he like came on in a game that I felt like we were going to win. I mean, only player to know Portuguese on that field, and yet like was absolutely already feeling comfortable, already feeling good with the ball. I mean, that's exactly what you expect. And if anybody makes a surprise appearance for the first team, I think it's genuinely going to be him.
Yep.
I think there is so much quality in him. I I expect him to really keep making a big push. But to highlight one of our like homegrown guys is really Maddox Findlay. I mean,
Mhm.
two times he's been subbed on, two times he's gone on and scored. Unfortunately, didn't end up winning the game against Tacoma, but I mean, he scored in that one and put us level. And he did end up really giving us the nail in the coffin for the game against St. Louis.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's a guy that you know can come in and really take his chances and make the most of them. So I mean, like Kenny himself really stated that like the importance was like really placing like a lot of praise with these like homegrown players because these are the guys that are really like what is building this team. I mean, last season you really saw guys that like weren't performing on the first team come down and get minutes for the twos. This season it's quite different. It's kind of just let's bring a bunch of our best academy guys and let's really give them a shot here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Maddox Finley is really the pinnacle of that, and really a guy that like I feel like has really impacted like the winning efforts in for the twos.
Yeah, it's crazy that it took 3 years for this to finally start happening. To see some of the local guys, get meaningful minutes and do meaningful stuff with Dynamo 2, and eventually try to break into that first team, man. And they're still picking up, like we mentioned, Josue as well. All those young South American players that you hope turn out to be the next Mikael, right? Doing really well, and eventually getting a pretty cheap contract. I mean, I don't think they paid a lot for Mikael to begin with to come, from Brazil, and then his contract, man. I mean, he's cheap, isn't he, Joey?
Yeah, he's pretty cheap. He's like around like 200K, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so it's just incredible. I mean, if you can find potential, and like I said, I believe, and we've talked about this before, because to go, Joey, you and I were having this conversation, like, about selling Mikael, right? I think if it gets to the point that how far can he go? It's not like he's gonna really beat anybody out in the national team. So
No,
does it
God,
really
no.
matter that he goes, in Europe? I mean, is he happy being here?
I
But
just don't think
but
he's good enough for Europe.
but then at the end of the day, I mean, I think he can play, but it's like if you expect him to play in a top tier team, that's not the case. And a lot of people, when they want to sell him, they're asking for a lot of money, and those teams that are not the ones that he can play for are not going to pay that money. And that was a conversation that you and me were having. And so, what's better for him to go to a place that they're going to pay? Say they do pay what they're asking for, but he's not going to get any playing time, and he's going to probably go through a spell of just getting loaned out to other lower teams. It doesn't benefit him as well, any, right, compared to help staying here, competing, and doing same with the Dynamo, and being a starter and getting that fan love. So but that's kind of, if you are going full circle with Dynamo 2, you hope that you can sell people. Obviously, the ones you're bringing in for South America are a little bit more difficult, but then Exxon Arsu was the other guy I was thinking of, and I believe he didn't play the last game. But the guys that you want are the ones locally, right? So the Philadelphia's, the who's the other teams? That Seattle's, some of those, Columbus. I mean, they're about to sell Morris if they haven't sold them yet.
Oh, they
Andy
have.
Morris.
That's done.
That's done too to
Yep.
Middlesbrough. Yeah. So it's like those are the type of players that you want to see come through a system. The local guys get playing time there, get playing time in the first team, and then just have somebody from abroad fall in love with them and buy them. That's really what you want to do, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather for a player like Mikhail just stay with the Dynamo his whole career. I mean, they're not going to sell him for a lot. He's not going to go anywhere where he's going to really take a huge leap. So I don't see the point in him wanting to leave, because I feel like if he's going to leave, it would be back to Brazil or Argentina or Mexico or whatever, not Europe. So I don't really see much of a point in that. I like the direction they're going with bringing in these young guys from South America. They're talented. They're good. I mean, fortunately, most of them, they can't really play for the first team this year because they're still on the loan contract with Dose,
right.
on MLS contracts,
Which
kind of stinks. But I mean, unless there's like one of those emergency call things, like Mikael had to do that his first year when he was on loan. He had to do an emergency call.
I was gonna say, if you wish you still had U.S. Open Cup, I think that's where you kind of where he got some experience there.
Yeah, and he played like that second half against, I think it was Minnesota, that one game like towards the end of the year in 22.
Yep.
But yeah, it sucks that we can't get these players in the first team yet. But man, I mean, Kenny's an excellent coach to learn and develop from. I think so. More power to them. Keep bringing in these young guys. Just kind of see what happens. I don't know. I don't think you should bring them in with the thought of selling them. I think you should bring them in wanting to keep them. You know,
Yeah, that's a great point.
why don't we want to sell people? We want good players to stay.
Yeah.
Keep them to compete.
And that's what I'm saying. I think the South Americans. I think if you brought them in, they're doing good. Keep them, right?
Yeah, keep
The
them.
ones that you want to probably sell are the ones coming through your academy, the free ones.
Yeah, because you get 100% back on that if you sell them. Because if the Dynamo sell Mikael, MLS takes a third of that transfer fee.
Yep.
You know, the Dynamo sell Maddox Finley, the Dynamo get 100% of it. So, you know, focus on if we're gonna sell guys, focus on the homegrowns, not the foreign guys.
Yeah, I guess let's just finish up with transfers. Everybody always wants to talk about transfer the closer we get to a transfer window. But Dago asked about Harold Preciado, the guy from Santos, I believe.
Oh, that'd be a dream, man.
Free agent.
Beautiful.
Do we see a possibility? I mean, anything is possible, right? But
Yeah, I don't know.
he came in, Joey. What do you expect from a player like Preciado? Where would he be playing? How would the team set up? Let's go with that.
I mean, he's an elite striker. He's a 9. He would come in right in Kovalchuk's position as a 9. He kind of just does a bit of everything. He scores goals. He creates goals. He's really good on the ball. He's fantastic in transition. I mean, he's a complete player. I think he scored a brace on the Dynamo last year.
I was
when
gonna
they played
say,
Santos.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a dream signing. I don't see him leaving CONCACAF for South America. So I think, yeah, why not? Dynamo should definitely throw their hat in the ring for him. I think MLS is a real possibility.
Preciado, that'd be a good one. I mean, at this point, any 9 that has a couple like 2 legs,
Yeah.
and a head and 2 arms. You know,
No, we don't need the arms. We don't
well,
need the
yeah,
legs.
that's true. That's true. Just two legs and a head. That's as much as we need, right? Because I mean, we know the story with Sebastian Ferreira. Man, just cannot stay healthy. You hope that he's back in the lineup sometime soon. Diego, for your sake, I hope that he gets in, scores a goal. Well, he scored the goal for my sake,
Yeah.
being selfish reasons. For my MVP, or not MVP, my Golden Boot.
Your Golden Boot,
standings. But we need a goal, man, here and there.
Look,
Actually,
my Golden Boot's chalked.
I would really love to just throw this player in the ring just to kind of see Sebas' position versus this other player in MLS, Musef Bakrar. Musef was the starter for 10 of NYCFC's games.
He
didn't score in a single one. I think that, like, really, with him now scoring, it's because he scored 1, which led to another, which led to a third. It's inevitable for Sebas to really get his foot on the ball and really start ranking in goals. The real important thing is he just needs to get on the pitch for him to get his foot on the ball. I think he has all the talent in the world to get us goals, and so I think he's going to prove us. I mean, Ben Olsen looks to still have trust in him, like Cushing has for Bakrar at NYCFC. So I mean, it's really just up to him getting healthy, and I really love to see it in Atlanta, for him to come out, start, or come off the bench and really provide an impact, because I think him and Seba and Kovalchuk would be insane together.
It'd be so much fun. I mean, if this team could just score like multiple goals a game, you're good.
Great. It would be great.
If this team was like 2018 Houston Dynamo, that somehow they still lost a bunch of games, but they were scoring like 2 or 3 goals a game. They're just getting. They're just conceding.
Baba starting.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say they're just conceding like 5 or 6 goals on the other end. But having that firepower, it's so good just for a team, and then for the fan base. I think. The team has been winning, but whenever it's just not entertaining for some. And when you have somebody that just can can be out there, be entertaining, keep the fans at the edge of their seat, man. People pay money for that, don't they? How much does Inter Miami pay you, or fans go? The tickets probably sell for like a couple $100
Yep.
everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And there's an entertaining factor. But guys, we've touched on everything we're gonna touch on. Is there anything else that you want to add, man? Feel free to add it. I know it was funny because I was gonna throw the Copa America and Euros and all that football towards the end, but we did it early. So
there's a question for me here in the comments.
let me see. Is there?
From
Oh
Paulina.
yes. This is David from
Oh,
Dynamo Fan
yeah,
TV.
undercover. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so yeah, Joey, how do you feel about New Mexico coach leaving?
He's not leaving yet. It's rumors. There's nothing concrete
Is this
to it.
Eric Quill? Is that
Yeah, Eric Quill. Rumors stemmed from Matt Doyle's speculation. There's not actual concrete evidence that this is happening or even a possibility of happening. But he's being linked with the Dallas job.
Ooh.
Because he was their North Texas coach, the next pro team. He was their coach beforehand, and he did like assistant roles with Dallas. How would I feel about him leaving the Dallas?
You're gonna
That'd
cry.
be heartbreaking, man. That would be heartbreaking.
If that happens, my prediction, like the Cristiano prediction, Joey's gonna cry.
I will cry, dude. That'd be he's come in halfway through last season, just tore the ship around, got us in the playoffs, and now they're sitting top. I mean, it's a fortress now at home. They don't lose games, so I mean, Quill better at least stick around the season, win a trophy, and then he could go to Dallas. Fine, that'd be cool.
There you go, man. So that's Joey's thoughts on that. But Diego, thanks so much for joining us, man. You're always welcome to the stream, man, anytime you want.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm super happy to be back and always love talking some footy.
And Joey's the best. Joe stats always makes it interesting, man. No
Yes,
stats.
sir.
We didn't really go through stats today.
Stats today. Let me find a stat for you guys real quick.
Oh, jeez. All right.
There you go.
Find a stat. I'll give people, if feel free to connect through all our social medias. Bayou City Soccer, that is Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube so you can watch this recordings either live, or you can go back and click the thing. What's up, Joey?
I found an interesting stat for you guys. All right,
All right.
Some dash stats.
All
right, Barb Olivieri. She averages the least amount of progressive passes per 90 in the entirety of NWSL amongst midfielders.
Whew.
But she leads the Houston Dash in shot creating actions per 90 by a lot.
Wow.
Huh.
So I don't know. She doesn't pass the ball forward. She just passes it, I guess, sideways in the box.
There you go.
Is your guys' weekly stat?
That keep beeping alive. But yeah, man. So thanks to everybody that joined. We had like 130 people in here, so that's good. Glad to be back here, guys. But with that, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange.